All right, so moving on, we are going to add a little more pizzazz to our logo, and we are going to work with some gradients. So we're going to add in a big circle behind this eventually, and we are going to add a fun little gradient to it. So let's start with a circle, and I'm just going to draw one in to get it started. And it's going to end up being, I'm pretty close, but 384 pixels by 384 pixels. I'm going to take that guy and I'm going to center him right in the middle. And then what we're going to do is apply a gradient to this. So it's pretty simple to do gradients. They're right in the same spot as fills. And right now we're just on color fill, which is just plain fill. However, we can choose a couple different gradient options. We're going to start with linear and then we're going to end in radial. So when I click linear, you'll see that it goes from one color to another color. So I have white on the left and black on the right. So we are going to do a 3-color option, and we only have 2 colors here. So if you want to add, it's called a stop. If you want to add an additional stop, you're just going to click right below the gradient. This is called a gradient slider. You're going to click right below it, or I guess right on top of it, and you're going to add in an additional color. Now it's just going to default and pick out whatever color is there, but we can modify that color if we'd like. So let's take a second and change these colors around. So our first color, and I'm just going to click on the first stop. Our first color is a black. So you can use your hue and saturation slider right here, and I'm just going to drag my little circle all the way down to the bottom left-hand corner. You could also go in and just do hashtag 000000, whatever works the best for you. I'm going to go to my last stop. I'm going to make sure that that is a black, which it should be. And I can see that it is because my hexadecimal code is 000000. Now I'm going to go to my middle stop, and it really, I've kind of got him about in the middle, and you can see that right here. And we are going to make this a red. Now that red's hexadecimal is EB0C0C, and I'll hit enter, and it makes it a red. Now I'm going black to red to black, and that's my gradient. And if I want to modify how this looks, I can drag my little slider in the middle right here, or I can modify it over here on my gradient slider, whatever makes the most sense to you. For this sample, we are going to actually choose a radial gradient, and we're going to change the way it looks, and it's going to go in a circle instead of in a straight line. So really, you want your gradient slider, your mid slider, to be about in the middle. We're cool with that. I like that. So we're going to leave that there. And we may play with this in just a minute if it doesn't look quite right. So I'm going to click off. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this circle and we're going to make a scaled down copy of this circle. So let's remember how to do that. That's under transform on the right. I'm going to click on it. And then there's my scale tool. I'm going to do a 65% at height and width. And then I want to make a copy. So I'm going to have to put 1 in copies. And then I'll click apply. And that's going to make a scaled down copy of this circle. Now I want to get out of my transform. So I'm going to click off to get out of my transform menu so I can go back in and modify this gradient. So to do that, we go back to our fill. We're going to stay on radial gradient, but we're just going to change the colors of our stops. Now for this one, I just want a beginning stop and an ending stop. So I want to get rid of this middle color. So I'm just going to click on him and I'm going to drag him down off of my gradient slider, and that deletes him. So now I'm going to go in and change the color of my beginning stop and my ending stop. So let's do that. I'm going to click on my first stop, and it's black. That's what we told it to be. So I'm going to change this one to white, which is the opposite. So I can just drag it all the way up in the left corner, and that's FF, FF, FF. For my ending stop, I'm going to choose kind of a peachy color, And that's going to be hashtag FF9980. It should look a little peachy, I guess I should say. So I'm going to leave that just like it is, and then I'm going to click off. So we've got our two gradient swatches. So what we're going to do, we're going to move these two ellipses, we're going to move them to the back of our text. So I'm going to select both of these. I'm going to arrange them and move them to the back. So I'm going to right click, arrange, and send to back. And now the Three Rivers and Symposium are showing pretty good. Now, if it doesn't show up just right, if it's not laying on your logo just like mine, then feel free to move some of those around. The first thing we're going to have to do is make sure everything is unlocked. Now, this original text, that's Barry. He's still hidden. We want him hidden, but everything else needs to be unlocked. We got to make sure everything's unlocked because we're going to go in and edit it. So what I want you to do now is change all of the text to that pink peach color. And that is FF, I'm going to put it up here, and you can pause and do this. That's FF9980. So you should be changing all of your text to this peach color. So if you want to hit pause and do that, I'm going to go ahead and change those colors right now. And you can do that as well. FF9980. And again, FF9980. And again, FF9980. So that looks pretty good. It kind of has a nice effect with our diamond behind it. It looks really gradient. I like it. And I'm going to go ahead and delete this out. The last thing we're going to do in this video is we are going to turn our Barry back on, and we'll work with him in the next video when we learn how to make text gradient. So I am going to bring him to the front. I'm going to arrange him. I'm going to right click, maybe. How about I go up to modify, arrange, and I'm going to bring him to the front. So there he is. He's in the front, and that looks really great. Eventually, we are going to modify the coloring of things, and we're going to rotate this around. But for now, we're going to leave it there. And then our next video, we're going to learn how to turn text into gradients.